Who got the best wings in Atlanta?
Magic City.
You look a little tied up.
Hey, yeah, ATL all day.
Teezy for the people, man. Listen, man, new year, new energy, new everything. Y'all heard what Bankroll Fresh said, man. New whips on the way, new jewelry, new spots. We just appreciate everybody, man. First and foremost, before we get into the guests, man, thank you for the support, man. Thank you just for, tuning in as a supporter, as a listener, as a watcher, as a share, as a like, as a view, anything. We're super appreciated for everything. Yeah, for all exclusive interviews, y'all make sure y'all tune in to www.Teezy4thepeople.com. So without further ado, man, let's get into a 40 under 40, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's get into, a Fortune 500, business magazine extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? Mr. HealthCare himself. I'm gonna call him that, y'all. He doesn't call himself that, but I'm gonna call him that. Man, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Andre Greenwood.
Thank you.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Brother, I'm doing blessed. Thank you.
All right, so Andre, first and foremost, we got to get into it. All right, you have on a nice suit. You get what I'm saying right here in the picture. And my producer called me and was like, "Does he have to wear a suit?" And I was like, "Nah, he don't, man." So what's up with the suit? Is it like different settings or anything, or do you just like, you like to chill, throughout the day, or do you like wearing suits all the time?
No, I actually love wearing suits.
Okay, that's good.
I attended Florida A&M University, graduated from the prestigious SBI Business School. They taught us to wear suits every day, and that's something I'm comfortable in.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think your appearance most definitely, like everybody says, like, oh, don't judge me by your appearance, but you're most definitely getting judged by your appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially the type of, setting that you're in. Like if you're in like more so of like a business setting, I feel like, listen, it's like have business attire. Sometimes I don't like, I don't like, this term, you know what I'm saying? But I do accept it when church says come as you are. You get what I'm saying? Like, I do agree with like come as you are for sure. But I feel like that's more from an internal standpoint. Like, hey, no matter how messed up you are in life, come as you are. We're here to accept everybody. But some people takes it as like, well, I'm about to come in the clothes from, the club last night and things like that. And so it's a here and there with me.
Right. And the way I believe, obviously I'm in the healthcare industry, so I don't deal with products or widgets. I'm dealing with people and their actual lives and their overall health.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're coming looking respectable, because like you said, people do judge a book by its cover. There is a expectation of what a leader should look like.
Correct.
It's not only just a suit, because I believe leaders are in different uniforms. They're in scrubs.
Correct.
They're in jerseys. And so, but being in the healthcare space, I think that is appropriate.
And a lot of leaders don't make it to social media.
Correct. And I think it's important to be on social media, because if I'm leading people, how will I understand who they are when most people are communicating through social media? If you want to call your little niece or your cousin, you call them, they don't pick up.
Correct.
But if you text them, they might text you back. But I know what they're doing if I go on social media.
Do you think that's like the disconnect sometimes with some like people in position, like leadership wise, because they're used to a certain format or a certain system, and then like the nuance of like social media coming in like the early 2010s or something like that, early 2000s, and people not really understanding that aspect of like just connecting that to like your business or things that you have going on. Is there a huge disconnect, you think, or is this, just some people just not getting it, or people are just turning around getting it?
Right. I believe there is a disconnect, because if you remember, Facebook was only for people that had a .edu
Correct.
email.
Correct.
So it was only generated towards active college students.
Correct.
And so when social media changed and it was open to more people, I think that's when people had to kind of get on board. But as a leader and someone who is more seasoned, I believe that we all still have to be a sponge.
Right.
And we have to adapt and be flexible to the times that we live in. And social media is a part of the way we communicate. It's a part of news. It's a real outlet that is real time, because most people imagine what the world looked like.
Right.
They read a book and had some imaginary thought in their mind. Maybe what could I be or what could I do? But now you can see right on social media real time.
How do you feel? How do you feel about being your true, authentic self, being a leader, being in a leadership position? Because of course, you don't want people to too much like judge, the things that you may be doing on a personal level, but more so like your actions for the community in itself. Like, is there like a balance to that, or do you just like, can just be your true, authentic self in all forms, and then just take, what comes with it?
Right. I think that's really what's been advantageous for me, is that I've been able to be authentic. Something that I do live by is, if serving is beneath you, leadership is beyond you. And that's something that you have to live by. I volunteer so much of my time in the community aspect, but volunteerism is something that's a part of my life. It's something that I ingrained in my children. My wife follows suits the same way. And so it's really who we are, because it has to be a true piece of you, or it's not authentic, or it's not going to be successful.
Correct.
Yep.
All right. So I know we just jumped straight into it, but let's go ahead and just give a backstory, right? Let's talk about the young Andre, right? All right. So grade school, when they asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What was your answer?
I want to be like my dad.
Okay.
So growing up, everyone wanted to be like Mike, but I wanted to be like my father. My father was a very successful entrepreneur. He owned multiple Jamaican restaurants. So we are Jamaican. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, section of Flatbush, and so my dad had
Brooklyn. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
So he was an entrepreneur, and so I grew up working with my dad and my brothers in our family business. He had fresh seafood markets where we sold fresh fish, and in Jamaican restaurants, and also event spaces. And so when you grow up in a household of entrepreneurs, every day you wake up, we have to make money in order to feed our family.
Correct.
And then I got into healthcare because my mom was a nurse. And so my mom was an ER nurse, night nurse. She also hit the leadership levels of working inside of health systems. So I grew up in a very balanced household, but I saw such a positive environment growing up through my parents that's all that I looked up to, because family was truly everything to me.
So you lived a pretty balanced childhood, not too much trauma in your childhood.
Yeah, I mean, well, there was trauma in the childhood. Unfortunately, I lost my brother when I was in the 7th grade to violence, and so something that really impacted me and shaped me was a fuel. It was like an internal flame into me that going the right path was even more important. Right. Because as you listen to music and you look at movies, I didn't need to imagine what that was, because I was living it in real life.
Right.
And so anytime tragedy hits so close to home, it really propels you to, elevate yourself to a new level. And I would say from that moment on in the 7th grade, I knew that my path was going to be a successful one.
What was one of the principles that your dad instilled in you growing up?
Integrity. Always, stand on your word, your morals, and your principle. And
listen, I'm glad you said that, right? Because I preach that all day,
I'm telling you,
right?
True.
I call it the MVP, the morals, the values, the principles. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have those type of things, then you're not in my frequency, respectfully. You get what I'm saying? Like, just in my bubble of world, we want to integrate each other. If you don't have morals, values, or principles, I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, I feel.
And my parents had all boys. And so it was all in the foundation of love, but more than anything, it was knowledge of self and who you are and loving who you are. Because I believe as a young black man, if you see God within yourself, when you look at another brother, you see God within them. Right. You're less likely to harm something that you value and love so much when you see it in another brother. Right. And having brothers and having that father was so important, and us being fathers, we know how important that is.
For sure. You know what, man? It's like growing up as the good guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you're just trying to do the right thing, not being the actual good guy, but just trying to do the right thing. I feel like people who do the wrong thing, like, it just goes unnoticed. Right? Always. You get what I'm saying? Like, but as soon as the person trying to do the right thing, does something that's not, in alignment, it's like we get on them worse than we get on the people that's out here, like, really wilding out.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
totally agree.
Why you feel like it's like that? because it's like at the end of the day, it's like, man, like we would want to bring a positive light, to people just wanting to trying to do the right thing. You don't have to be perfect. You get what I'm saying? But if you have a vision as a young person and you want to excel in that vision, right? It's like the obstacles on the way during your journey, like, may hinder you from completely capturing that whole vision just because people want to, get on you about this or that.
Right. No, I totally agree. I think, a lot of people call it hate, but I think it's hardcore insecurities that go on, hardcore insecurities that people don't want to acknowledge or take accountability for. And then when the older you get, it becomes even more harmful, right? People become more dangerous because your success exposes their insecurities that they have within themselves.
Correct.
And so, growing up, I think my outlet was I played football. So I played collegiate football.
Okay.
So playing sports and, getting good grades, I never had any issues. But luckily, I had that sports outlet. But again, it's difficult. You have to be extremely disciplined. You have to read a lot of books. Like I said knowledge of self, but also understanding that you are pulling up people behind you. You have to have a purpose. You have to find that purpose early on in life, because if you don't have that purpose, you don't have love and respect for yourself, you're going to fall victim to everything that's going to be an obstacle for you moving forward. And that could be male or female, friend, family, or foe. And a lot of times what I've seen is the people sometimes closest to you that you have to watch.
Almost all the time.
Right.
I feel like the more success that you get as a person, like you said, like the more insecurity or something that comes out of the next person. And you know what? I really don't, like, I used to blame them. Like, I used to think that, that's a character trait of yours. But then when I noticed it was so common, I'm like, I really don't blame y'all, because this is kind of like a natural inclination of just people. You get what I'm saying? Right. Because it's like, all right, like if your success doesn't like inspire me or motivate me, it's gonna do the opposite.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's either gonna do one or the other. So it's never like no median where somebody's just like, hey man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm just gonna keep supporting you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got that you got that one or two friends, but it's not everybody.
No, it's not everybody.
It's not everybody. Like even shoot, man, your mama, your family, but everybody. You know what I'm saying? So no disrespect to my mama. I love my mama all day long. But boy, as soon as my mama know any one of her kids come up on some money, it's like it's like, you supposed to take care of me. I done took care of your butt for so long. And I'm like, to an aspect, you absolutely right, Mom. But why do we have to like put that in our heads that that's what we're supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I just took, that whole little thing is just like, it's a people thing. It's not more so that person's character trait, because like being around success motivates you. Like if you're around people in position, people in power, leadership positions, like just somebody that's just like inspiring on a whole nother level, who doesn't even have to be in that position. They can be the average person on the street that's just feeding a homeless person. You might actually have a conversation with a homeless person, and I had this conversation one time, but you might actually have a conversation with a homeless person and you might just prejudge them. Oh, you're a strung out junkie or something like that, not knowing they story so intricate and stuff like that. The reason why they there, that even you can't even think about how you would have got out of that situation.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I totally agree. I remember when the men's homeless shelter was on Pine Street.
I fed the men. Oh yeah, Peachtree and Pine Street. Yeah. I fed the men's homeless shelter on Pine Street. You got to be in by a certain time. I think it's like 6 or 7 o'clock. And then the parking lot right across the street. And then you feed them right down that little strip. Yeah.
And if you remember even before that, when there was Glass Night Chicken and Waffles.
I remember that right there on the right hand side.
And Verve, there was Verve Lounge right next to it.
I remember that. And
so I met men who were obviously, veterans, professional athletes.
Right.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that at all.
Enough, the downfall entertainers.
For sure.
A lot of entertainers.
I think we can have a whole episode or conversation just on the downfall of entertainers and the stigmatism that they put in just like that entertainment world. Like people feel like when you're entertainers feel like as an entertainer, you either got to be like number one Beyonce status or you can't be nothing at all. Like you can go straight to bum status, but they're like, nah, bro, go get a job. Like that one entertainer that went viral from the Cosby Show. He was working at Trader Joe's. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then he got a gig after that.
Right.
Just because of that.
Right. So you know, you never want to look down upon anyone.
Correct.
You know, going back to my childhood, you know, on Thanksgiving, we used to go to the Armory, Salvation Armory on Bedford Avenue, and never forget Bedford Avenue and Atlantic Ave, and feed the homeless. Like, you know, just have cooked food out of the trunk. And so having parents who came from extreme humble beginnings, my mom is from Brooklyn, New York, and my dad coming from Jamaica, extreme humble beginnings, they teach and instill in you that you have to help someone else out because someone helped them along their journey. And so I think when people do inventory of themselves, then they understand what they have to do to give back to the community for what people have put into you.
That's a great one. Doing inventory of yourself. I never really heard it like that or worded like that.
Yeah, I think it's very important. No matter what level you are in life, you have to do the inventory. And particularly now we're in the new year in 2026, right?
Oh, yeah.
What happened in 2025? You have to take inventory of yourself. What do you need to do and enhance and prepare yourself to be even more successful, or to the point where you're just maintain what you've already achieved into the new year? Because it's easy to obtain things and it's so quick to lose it.
Oh, it's even quicker to lose it. And you know, just thank God just for like my team and just like family and just, you know, just everybody that's, you know, my support system. You know what I'm saying? Like they help out a lot. And just maintaining the blessing. But people don't understand like you're not preparing yourself for the moment of just like the money, the glitz and the glamour. Like you're preparing yourself for the moments of the things that you dream for other than the money, like the purpose of you doing these things. And then once you fall into your purpose, like keeping that involves so much discipline. You get what I'm saying? Like discipline that you have to shred that part of that version of yourself.
Correct.
Because if you don't, like it's an automatic, you're going to fail.
Absolutely. Discipline is important because, again, to me, your purpose is what you're living out right now. And that is going to equate to the legacy that you're going to leave behind. Whether you have children, you know, siblings or cousins and nieces moving ahead. I think shaping who you are right now and building that legacy, that's the end game. When you're building your vision board for yourself, people do it year after year. But I try to tell everyone, create a vision board when it's all said and done. What are we going to remember you by? Because it's not going to be by a particular job and things like that. It's more people remember what you did for them and how you made them feel more than things that you have accomplished. I appreciate all the awards and things I've been, acknowledged for. But I feel at peace when we met and seen each other at toy giveaways and back to schools and HBCU fairs and job fairs. That's really important to me because I know that I made a direct change in someone else's life. And that high five, that hug, that thank you, it's sincere.
For sure.
Every time I get back in my car after an event or something that I do, I feel it. And I download back into myself what I'm doing. And that fuels me to do something even bigger and better the next time.
And that's so dope, man. And I feel like that fuels the life as well. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing the smiles on the kids' faces or just anybody. Like the tons of toys event we do with Scream, like that's just beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like from everybody involved. There's so many people involved just within that one day or those 2 days a year. And it'll last you a lifetime. Memories that'll last a lifetime. So
right. And obviously, we live here in Atlanta, right? You hear a bunch of things about Atlanta. But just holding on to that event alone, it shows you the love this city has.
For sure.
For this city.
For sure.
We put on. When they say we put on for this city,
we put on. For sure. Shout out, you know what? Shout out to the Scream Foundation, man. Shout out to DJ Scream, you know what I'm saying? Scream, yep. The whole foundation. Shout out to Jessica
V, everyone, the whole entire team.
For sure.
People really don't realize how much work goes into putting these events on. There's so many unsung heroes that are involved day after day. I just like to I'm grateful to be on this platform once again, but to also talk about the countless amount of people that give their hearts, their souls, their financial backing behind doing these things.
Correct.
None of this stuff is free. But again, I always also believe without a healthy community, we don't have a community at all. And that's from a mental and physical and spiritual piece, because there's a lot of things in life that will break people. You could be healthy, you could look good, but you have a broken heart, all the other stuff doesn't even matter. And so,
That's
having a way to be that string to mend that heart is truly rewarding, and something that I bring home in everything that I live every day.
All right. I feel like now the people have, got a liking to you, got a knowing to you.
Hopefully.
Right? Because we about to get deep real quick.
Okay, let's
I'm
go.
telling you, I told you I got some questions for you.
Okay.
So I need some straightening. No, I'm saying. All right. So look, right? Explain a few things to me in this healthcare world, right?
Right.
Consider me as knowing anything, like nothing, other than your basic, just going to do checkups, you know what I'm saying, and physicals and things like that, and just making sure my blood pressure is correct and things like that, right? But some things I really don't understand, like when Biden gave out crack pipes to everybody, right? Like as a healthcare specialist, like because this happened in. Like he was giving it, like it was a certain program, to my understanding, right? Mm-hmm. And like, what is behind that method? Like, was it to like keep the people in like that area like contained, or was it to? Are you familiar with that?
With Biden, with
the crack pipes, when he was giving out when they had a program where they was giving out crack pipes to people.
Actual real crack pipes.
Yeah, like pipes.
Oh.
And having them come. Oh, you got to go look that up.
Okay, I got it.
All right, yeah, look that up. Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to know the concept behind that. Like, what could be the concept behind it? Because, like, are you trying to keep like people that has drug habits like contained, or are you trying to like keep the bad drugs off the street? You know what I'm saying? Like, what could be just thinking from an outside version looking in? What do you think that could be?
Right. I mean, it's keeping people where they are, but unfortunately, they're trying to get ahead in life. And so if you're keeping someone that's already down already,
right,
then you're putting a ceiling on them. And that's not what we want, right? We want people to be able to evolve and ascend and, be the phoenix and rise from the ashes, right? And so I wouldn't believe in keeping anyone down to give anyone a crack pipe, because all of us are from different urban cities across this country, and the crack pipe hasn't done anything but destroy us.
Right.
And key on us, right? And so I would definitely there needs to be more diversion programs to help people with addiction, abuse. And then also we need to kind of get away from the negativity of behavioral health. Because just like we get an annual physical, I do believe there's nothing wrong with having an annual behavioral, physical, and mental health check as well.
Explain like behavioral, like actually sitting down with somebody.
Yeah, sitting down with a mental health professional.
Correct.
Just to make sure that you're okay.
Correct.
Because a lot of times as adults, how many times do people really ask you, are you okay?
Almost never. It's always, hey, can you do this?
Right. There's normally an ask for you, but normally people don't ask just how you're doing.
Right.
When you go to a physical, they look at your diet and, they run the blood test on you. So there's kind of things that they can hone in on. But what is your mental state? How are you feeling?
Right.
Because again, material things are just material things. You see it every day. Suicide rates are not just poor people. Believe it or not, suicide rates are middle class and higher.
Oh, I believe it. I think I wouldn't even say like poor people, but the less fortunate people is more fortunate than anything.
Correct.
Like living your life just in simplicity.
Correct.
Just period. I feel like that's like, have you watched that? I think it was a documentary called The Material Things, The Materialistic or something like. You watched that?
Yep.
It's crazy, right?
It's very crazy.
So it's like, I feel like, and people like the more simple, like, because when we attach ourselves to all these gadgets, all these things, just whatever the case may be, I feel like it throws off like just your personal journey and what you have to do in life. Like you're not under like, a lot of us don't know how to hunt. A lot of us don't know how to, fish, yep. Cook, barely just get outside and just walk and breathe. Like everything's like a phone. Like we can't put our phones down.
Everything's on the app.
Everything's on the app. And just crazy, like even like we're gonna get into Chat GPT by the way, GPT-2 by the way. But it's just like certain things. But a few more things with healthcare before we go other places, right? So that was a good thing that you said about like, let's diversify the programs, and because you don't believe in like keeping somebody down or keeping them at a certain level just by providing them a crack pipe.
Correct.
All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, that did happen though, for sure, in real life. So y'all fact check me if y'all want. But let's next go to like, I feel like the Obamacare, gets a lot of backlash, right? Now, I can't pinpoint exactly what is the backlash because I personally love Obama, right? I feel like Obama was one of the best representations of a president, that we could have. Now, of course, I feel like every president that gets into office, of course, now all the so-called alleged bad things comes out about these presidents, no matter who the president is. I can't think of a president that never had like bad backlash.
Right.
Like when it was like, we all know about Clinton, but when it was Bush, they was talking about his daddy. Yep. Like any president that we had, when Hillary was trying to run for president, they didn't want a woman. And with Kamala, like same thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and even with Joe Biden, Obama and Trump, like I feel like it's the same with all three, so I really try not to get into politics, right? Big politics. But my homeboy brought something to my attention one day because I never really been big on voting, right? Because I always felt that, it wasn't going to help, like just us in general, right? That was before. That's not my mindset now. That's not my mindset now, right? But then what made me change my mind is thinking about my local electives, right?
Yep.
I'm thinking about my school systems that we can change. I'm thinking about like just like different, like my whole area that we can change. And then that made me become an avid voter. And that made me look up like who's on the ballot in my local system and local electives. And I just feel like when it came to like, when it comes to like just Obamacare or something like that, like people, like, I don't know. I just hear good and bad things about it. Could you explain what Obamacare really did for us?
Right. So, Obamacare is a term they use for it. It's the Affordable Care Act, and it's an exchange plan. And so what President Obama did is there was millions of uninsured people in America. So majority of Americans that are insured are ones who are employed by major organizations, whether you work for Target or Walmart or, JP Morgan. But then you have entrepreneurs or just individuals that work for smaller companies that don't offer insurances. They need to have an individual plan.
Correct.
That they can use for themselves and their family.
Correct.
And that's what President Obama created. The negativity that you hear, and you said it, the word Obama, he created something that insured millions of Americans because so many Americans were getting their medical care from the ER. The ER is the only medical place in America that anyone could walk into and receive care.
And I feel like nowadays, if you don't have insurance and you go to the ER, they're probably just going to, if not turn you away.
They can't. Legally, they cannot turn you away. So that's what I'm saying.
So they give you Tylenol or like.
Well, they'll see you and diagnose you. There could be a wait time, but it's the only place that an uninsured person can walk into and not get turned away.
That's crazy.
Because just like we see our PCPs, if you miss your visit, you try to reschedule yourself.
Correct.
And they'll tell you, oh, you can't come back for another month or two.
Or they don't charge you $50, $75 for it.
Correct, because you're insured. And so what President Obama was doing is creating access for people that were uninsured. Because again, if you're not able to see underlying diseases or preventable diseases, they turn into something that cannot be preventable, where it can turn into cancer or something that's life-threatening. And so that's what was so important about the exchange market. And
do you feel like it was successful?
Yes, I feel like it's very successful. The reason why, and it's interesting you just said that, Congress and the Senate just expanded it 3 more years.
That's good.
Because remember, we just had a shutdown over it, but they realized how many Americans that will impact. When I say Americans, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle or if you're independent or how you vote. It just impacts Americans, period. And so I think it's been very successful because, again, we're able to monitor people's health in this country. When you're uninsured, you're unable to be monitored on where we're going.
Correct. I like how you put that, and that was great insight on the Obamacare. I just wanted our people to really know that because it's a lot of clickbait out there. It's a lot of just different. Like I said, I don't want to speak on it unless I know facts. So I said I don't know. But if you can most definitely insight us on that, which you did, which I thought it was dope. Since you spoke about the shutdown, right? Because I had questions about the shutdown as well. All right, so you said the shutdown is over healthcare, right? For sure.
Primarily
healthcare, right? And before we get into the political side of it, right? Because it was kind of like a Democrat and Republican type of thing, right? Majority. We had so many people that had government jobs that didn't get paid for months, right? We had a loss of the food stamp program for the moment that affected families, and it was crazy. It affected families around like Thanksgiving and around the holidays. And I'm trying to word this because I have mixed feelings and mixed emotions about everything. I know you work in the Medicaid system, right? And you know pretty much a lot about it, right?
Yep.
All right, so when it comes to Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, let's just put these three out there first, right? I do feel like we do have to have some type of government system in place, a government assistance system in place, right?
Correct.
Like Medicaid or the food stamp program or something like that. Now, I don't wholeheartedly agree with how they vet these systems, respectfully. The only reason why is because on one end, it becomes like a crutch. You get what I'm saying? On one end, for some people, I do feel like maybe they should buckle down on how they vet these people, so the people who really need food stamps, who really need Medicaid or Medicare, these single mothers that need this government assistance, or anybody that's struggling, because it's kind of hard out here for everybody. It's like if you make over 30 to 50,000 or something like that, you can't get this assistance. You don't qualify for this assistance. But these people as well are living paycheck to paycheck. Right. Just because
working poor is real.
Yeah, a lot of people are working poor. I'm gonna call you Dre. Dre. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot.
So it's like, how do we vet this? You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like, all right, bro, we all struggling out here. We all in some type of form or fashion. If you're not and then honestly, the way things are going now, this been happening, but the transition now is going a little bit more rapid between Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, stocks, everything. It's like the digital currency is more important now than anything, right? And a lot of people are old school, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, a lot of people,
very conservative.
So it's like when it comes to these government assistance systems, how do we find a way to help everybody, and instead of just helping people who make under $10,000 or $15,000 a month?
No, I think it's a great question. The issue that's going on right now is inflation has been rising at a rapid rate, quicker than we can settle upon what does it cost to live. What is truly the cost of living in the city of Atlanta, from zone 1 to zone 6? What is the cost of living in Atlanta?
Right.
Not Cobb, not Gwinnett, not DeKalb, not Clayton. How many people can afford to live in the city of Atlanta?
Right.
If we remember, over a decade ago, they closed all the housing projects in the city of Atlanta, right?
Right.
So they gave most people vouchers, and most of them went to Clayton County or DeKalb County. And if you remember, Clayton County lost their accreditation immediately in the school system.
Why is that?
Well, because most time when you transfer kids to a new school, not just a new school, but a whole new neighborhood, the scores fell far below than what the median is supposed to be. And so when Atlanta did that, the affordability of the city skyrocketed. And then COVID hit over 5 years ago, and people from the West Coast and the North started moving to Atlanta. If you look at the housing market and you see how much it has risen, Atlanta's almost coming like New York, where you can't afford a home and you're only trying to rent.
Mm-hmm.
Where Atlanta was a city of hope, where people came to buy a home and can build a community upon that.
I feel like renting is actually more in Atlanta.
That's the point they're making. But if you try to buy a house and now interest rates were 3% and lower,
right,
12, 15 years ago, and now it's more than doubled, you're lucky to get maybe a 6%
right
on that home.
Correct.
A mortgage rate on a 6% on a $350,000 home is a lot different than that same home being maybe $150,000 10 years ago.
Correct.
And so the affordability of the day-to-day has increased so much, but the pay that you're maybe getting, maybe 1.5 to 3% increase of your employment, is not keeping up with the rates jumping maybe 8 to 9% of your day-to-day living. And so how do the feds average out what that living and what that cost should be? And I think that's what we're struggling with in America right now, that the cost of living outweighs what the federal government is able to give in subsidized housing and with Medicaid and other different programs that we see in the country.
From doing your due diligence on just like knowing the system when it comes to like Medicaid, Medicare, just food stamps in general, right? Do you see something potentially being instilled in the future that is going to help everyone overall? Or is it going to buckle down to just lower income, like the immediate people that need help?
Yeah, I definitely think that America is in an interesting time because the middle class is fading. If you travel the world, go to a lot of other countries, they don't know what middle class is. Like, what is that? It's the have and have-nots, the rich or the poor. And so you're starting to see the gap expand in between the have and have-nots in Atlanta. And so it's interesting. The new mayor of New York just dropped something where he's going to make childcare affordable or free for all New Yorkers.
That's great.
As a parent,
I'm moving to New York.
The biggest bill we all know
Yes.
is that daycare bill.
Yes.
And say you have multiple kids in daycare, it's more than your mortgage or your rent.
No, for sure. Like, you're paying any time for one child between $400 and $800, and like more than that.
Right. And
more than that. But
more than that. And, right. Correct.
But I'm saying, like, on a weekly basis though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and it's really sick because like you would want to go to a daycare where all the daycares have cameras, right? For like your child, like you would want to go there, but right?
Want to, right?
But then it's like, and you would think that for a regular price, you would get a camera in every daycare, right? But honestly, if you vet these daycares out, it's like, well, do you want a daycare in this area? Do you want a daycare with a playground, or do you just want a daycare with just like a home in the basement? Do you want, like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
and I totally get it, because even with the shutdown, people don't realize a lot of daycares take federally funded dollars. There are parents that have those vouchers, the daycare vouchers. And so when that shutdown happened, people don't realize how many programs shut down when that happened. I mean, think about it. I mean, it's more than just food stamps. It's everything that's federally funded. Even like the Y. I mean, a lot of those kids that are there on scholarships at the Boys and Girls Clubs, all those after school initiatives, those dollars are gone once that shutdown happens. So people don't realize it's very important that we have these programs, because people live by them.
Right.
And mostly women and children live by them.
You're absolutely right, man. I just hope and wish that, sometime in the future they have something for like everybody, because like you said, like the difference between the have and the have-nots is like really, expanding on both sides. And honestly, I feel like we don't even have a middle class for real. Like, like you either like rich or you're not poor. Like, we're rich in spirit, like, you know what I'm saying? But, nobody's like really like having it these days, I feel like, unless you have like something lucrative that you're doing, which a lot of people are. I love to see a lot of different entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur myself. Mm-hmm. I love to see a lot of guys going into trades now. At one point, that wasn't a thing.
College is not for everyone.
So I love to see the whole trade aspect. it used to be like either go to college, or if you ain't going to college, you just chasing your dreams. But now people are like, well, shoot, if I'm not going to college, like I'm going to trade school. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning a trade or something.
HVAC, plumbing. I mean, there's a lot of things. But to your point, going back to Affordable Care Act and Obama, that was the one thing, to have some type of universal health care in this country where everyone should have access to a provider.
How do you feel about universal income?
That's going to be I don't know if we're going to see that in our lifetime, right? Because,
hey, you know, Elon is saying that, though.
Yeah, he says a lot of things.
Right.
But will that happen? We don't know. But I think we'll see where the country's going. This is midterms. If we don't realize this whole Southeast region are all going to have brand new governors this time next year. Correct. So Brian Kemp, his 2 terms are up.
Correct.
And so he'll be leaving office in November, December of this year, and we will elect a brand new governor. And so we're going to see where the state is going to go. Are we going to go?
So are you dropping your campaign now?
I'm not. I have a lot of good friends who are running in the governmental race, and
right.
You know, one with the FAMU. I was in Leadership Atlanta with another one, and former DeKalb leader. So
that's what's up.
We'll see who comes out of that party, and you know, I will put my backing behind that particular candidate. So
I feel like Governor Kemp, I feel like he done ran longer than 2 terms.
He was there during COVID, and I think that's what made things seem longer. But yeah, he was there for 2 terms, and just trying to see where we're going to push Georgia forward. But I think the main thing that come to my mind that I see day in and day out is affordability. Correct. It's something that you hear it in bigger cities up north, but I think it is a real thing now. What is it? You know, affordability, education, food insecurities. We have way too much. We're just an unhealthy state. When I look at maternal health for Black women in particular, it's an F again in the state of Georgia. We have some of the highest maternity mortality rates in the whole country. We have the highest C-section rate. We have a facility in Atlanta with the highest C-section rate in the entire country. And majority of the women who are having a C-section are Black women. And so we need to figure out what is going on, not just in Georgia, but on a national level. But also what's important, and I'm on the board for the Center of Black Women's Wellness, which is right in Mechanicsville in the heart of Atlanta. And
that's so dope.
It's one of the boards I love to be on, and that's why I want to take some time to talk about this. It's because Black women are dying at an uncontrollable rate. We're seeing health outcomes be exactly the same no matter what financial level you're on. So whether you're uninsured, you're on Medicaid, you got commercial insurance, we're seeing the same outcome. And we don't even see that in Black men or any other races. So going back to the maternity mortality rate that we're seeing, it's 3 times of Hispanic women and white women. So if we're seeing that happening with Black women, you need to say, oh, hey, wait, what's going on? And a lot of women can contest to this, particularly Black women. Just trying to find a Black OB in the city of Atlanta is difficult. Correct. Trying to find a midwife or someone to deliver your child, whatever hospital you choose, that looks like you is difficult. Majority of women in Georgia can find, excluding Black women, can find a physician same sex and the same race or ethnic culture as them, except Black women. And so that's why access to care is so important. And I've seen it with my own wife and giving birth. She had an emergency C-section with our oldest child, which I thought was preventable. Luckily, you know, she was healthy and our daughter Ava was healthy. But I saw them take action prematurely due to the fact that they were so nervous, but there was not one person in sight that looked like us in that room. And we were just hauled off to the OR. But in a split second, I'm signing a waiver saying X hospital's not going to be liable if your wife or child dies in this OR. And that's something that we don't talk about enough. But I challenge men, men in particular, we have to be there for our spouses when they're giving birth. Because if there's one way you can feel whatever you want about a woman, but seeing her going through giving birth is the next level of respect that you have for a woman, because literally she's putting her life on the line to push a new human out into this world. And being in the OR of my wife really propelled me to want to get on that particular board to advocate for women. And so I've gone to the Capitol in D.C. I work with Charles Johnson, who's president for HealthCare for moms who lost his wife while giving birth, and something that was totally preventable. And he's someone I went to undergrad with at FAMU. And so this is a real campaign as Black men and fathers that we're going to fight for women in this maternity mortality issue that we're faced with in America.
Why do you feel that there is a high mortality rate in Black women when it comes to labor, deliveries, and pregnancies? Is it just because we don't have people of our color in those positions, or is it bigger than that? And the only reason why I say that, right, because the hospital has a system, right? The drug companies have a system. All pharmaceutical companies have a system, right?
Right.
And these doctors, they're just prescribing you what the pharmaceutical companies is pushing out to them because they're giving them the big dollars, right? And then you have, that's some of the doctors, not all doctors. And then you have some doctors or nurses or nurse practitioners or anybody that works in that field that's wholeheartedly trying to help the people, assist the people, but they have to go through so many obstacles of just not going against the system that it's kind of makes it impossible to change something like a mortality rate, when it gets to the hospital. Now, I know, let's just say Black women in general. I mean, in general, like I know Black women in general, they can do certain things before they get to the hospital. I know my wife, she actually picked her midwife, right? And, excuse me, she was searching. She went searching for sure. And it's crazy that you said that because we had a lady, and I don't know if my wife wanted me to tell her business like that, but we had a lady, I'm not going to get into the situation, but we had a lady that basically, we was like, we was kind of skeptical about what she was doing as a midwife. She was appointed midwife, right? And then my wife was like, no, I don't want her in the delivery room. It's going to make me nervous, these certain things. And so we had to actually look for someone that she was very comfortable with. Not necessarily our color, but it had to do a lot with comfort. Because a lot of people in that position, in that field, they're most definitely, and I'm sorry to be long-winded, but they're most definitely just doing the job, that they're paid to do, and not trying to save the life. Like if they knew the percentage of the mortality rate in Black women, like you're doing, like you're seeing, and making you want to be involved in these certain programs, maybe they would all get involved, right? So how do we, one, differentiate the two, and then two, create more awareness to this situation before they get to the hospital?
Right. I think, research, right? There's a lot of things out there online. I always tell any patient or any member that we have to, get counsel, from your provider. And even for your healthcare organizations, there's hotline numbers on the back of those cards. They're small printed, but a lot of times we don't take advantage of, it's almost like all the benefits, right? You know all your benefits on the American Express card, but do you know all your healthcare benefits? You know all the benefits that you get from your healthcare.
Hey, I slick do. I be calling all the numbers on the back of my healthcare card. Hey, y'all take my insurance because I like what y'all got going on. So.
Right, but I think more than that. In my career, I've worked with Meharry and Morehouse School of Medicine, which has done a lot of teaching and what we can do to help ourselves. Obviously, healthy living, living in a healthy environment. We don't talk about that enough. Living in a healthy environment. Sometimes we don't even know what a healthy environment is.
Because that gets deep too, Dre.
That gets very deep.
Cause the air quality in certain areas is not. So how can you?
Yep. And a lot of times women become pregnant and then they have hypertension, high blood pressure, and then, you go through the test and so all of a sudden you weren't having hypertension, you were not a diabetic pre-pregnancy, then you become pregnant, and then now you're diabetic. And then now maybe you can't afford to eat the nutritious foods that you need to keep your blood pressure and manage your diabetes once you're pregnant. And of course, that costs money. It's not cheap to eat healthy, right? When we think about some of the areas that we're in, where do you see a Sprouts, or where do you see a Whole Foods, or even a Publix?
Midtown.
Exactly. Or Buckhead, or other
You don't
parts
see
of the
one
city.
on Bankhead, I'll tell you that.
So if you ride Bankhead down, if you ride Campbellton Road down, you have some of these streets all in Atlanta. You know where to maybe get some turkey wings or some fish or some wings. But where do you see fresh produce? Where do you see a kale market or a salad bar? You don't. And so because
Why do you think that though? Is it like, cause some things may be just.
I mean, affordability. I mean, just
That's what you think it is? It might be the mindset, because everybody be talking about lemon pepper wings and fries. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want a kale salad.
But if you've never been introduced to fresh vegetables,
Right.
and you become an adult, it's already ingrained in your mind. But if you're going to the hospital, if you're going to a provider's telling you that you have to eat healthier.
Correct.
But if there's not healthy options where you live, if you don't have a car and you only can get on the MARTA, how far could you really go to even access that? And so
that's very important too.
Yeah. And even when you even think about some of those roads, where do you see a pediatric dentist? Where do you see a pediatrician? The key word is access. When you think about the word access, top schools, healthy food.
Right.
These are things that you don't find. Top healthcare.
Magnet programs in these high schools, like you only see them at certain high schools.
You always hear about kids getting zoned out, but why do they always have to get zoned out rather than something being in the community? And that's something that obviously, the Mayor Dickens in the second term is really pushing for. And Atlanta's one community, and he wants every child to make sure that they have the same opportunity no matter where you live.
I feel like, and that's great that you said that, like, let's talk about community, right? I feel like some of these schools in, lack of a better term, like a poor community, right?
Underserved is
underserved.
Yep.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you. I'm about to take a class on my speech, y'all, so
No.
getting it right. But I feel like we need more food pantries inside of these schools, because a lot of these kids, they're only getting one meal a day, right?
That's very true.
Working with the Scream Foundation really brought a lot of insight to that. I remember we was doing we did one of these seminars, I forgot what it was, but I was interviewing like a lot of different children and things like that. And I interviewed an actual teacher, right? And I was like, well, what's one of the things that you guys need in your school? I'm thinking she about to say school supplies, book bags and stuff, and about to hit her with the alley-oop. All right, well, listen, we do that,
Right.
But then she said, well, we need food. And I'm like,
Yep.
I never thought about that, because literally, if you ain't got no food at the house and you're living in undeserved area, right? Like, I feel like school is the only time that you eat. And a lot of kids, with these but it gets deep, because these school buses, like, they're having to pick up extra routes just because, there's not enough school bus drivers. So they're getting to school late. So them getting to school late, they're not eating breakfast. They're only eating lunch. And then the lunch that they do provide, it's like, it's filled with so many different things that can really kill you. The more that you eat it, that, like, we don't provide a healthy option, for these schools in these undeserved areas.
Yeah, no, it's key in what you're speaking on. If a child is hungry, they're not worried about learning, because they're worrying about filling their stomachs up because they're hungry. So how can you expect a child to be successful when they're hungry? The one thing I do love about being chairman of the Andrew Walter Young YMCA is we have our food pantry every Thursday, and the line is down the street that we're just giving out, chicken, produce, fruits, other type of vegetables, cereal, milk, eggs. But these are simple things that people don't have in their household, are just simple, nutritious, basic necessities. And so when you're seeing that over and over again, that trickles down to the child.
Right.
Because a lot of times, from what I've seen, and I've done different seminars, they always talk, this kid is at risk, or this kid is a risk. But when you kind of pull the layer back, you kind of see what's going on in the home, where the issue lies.
Correct.
It's with the parent. And if that parent is not, stable mentally, physically, and spiritually, it's always going to trickle down to the child. And that's why I always say teachers are true heroes, because they have saved the lives of countless people. And sometimes they don't always get the pat on the back because they know what's going on with the kid in their classroom.
First of all, shout out to all school teachers, man, dealing with these kids, you know what I'm saying? But you dealing with the kids due to their parents and how their parents act. So shout out to all the teachers.
Tough job.
In the school system. I think they don't get appreciated enough.
They don't.
Can we give a round of applause for all the teachers, please? We giving y'all good energy. You know what I'm saying? And
higher learning all the way down.
For sure. And you know what a good movie that displays what you were saying, like it starts what happens in the household, right? Have you ever seen Lean on Me?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so you so you seen that the part where the girl gets pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. And then the doctor, what's his name? I forgot his name, man. Anyway, he goes to the house of the student, and sits down with her mother. Mm-hmm. And then when he's sitting down with her mother, she got a cigarette in her hand. Yep. She's stressed out. Ain't no food in the refrigerator. She barely know that her daughter is pregnant or something like that. There's very little communication. So I feel like, and that was like a great depiction of what happens in general in the world. I feel like some parents, it's hard, man. I'm being a more understanding person in 2026, mm-hmm. right? I feel like understanding a lot solves a lot. Especially when it has to just be dealing with yourself internally, understanding why this person did this, why this person is going through this and things like that. So when I look at those things, I'm like, man, yeah, it's hard for the child going to school, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, they're going to mess up because they're children. Right. But then it's also hard for that parent. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I feel like most parents, we hear that thing if you could do better, if you would do better, you would. Mm-hmm. But shoot, man, a lot of these areas, they making it so hard for parents not to do nothing. A lot of these different countries, it doesn't have to be area. It doesn't have to be United States. Let's take ourselves out of the United States. Let's go to another country. You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, cool. Let's do it. So let's go to let's just go to South Korea, North Korea, right? Perfect example, mm-hmm. right? You don't get these type of, in all these countries, Japan, China, you don't get these type of luxuries of just, being the best you can be, all you can be. You don't get those luxuries. Right. Mm-hmm. You don't get those luxuries. It's and I feel like United States, for lack of a better time, is adopting these things, you know what I'm saying, in ways that they don't even know. You're making it hard for your own people. If no matter if it's systemic racism, no matter if it's the food that we're eating with the CDC, and just when I mean the CDC, I mean them just approving different foods. Right. I just want to be out there, or the pesticides for the farmers just to meet the demands of the people. Man, have you ever seen how many brands that Tyson Foods actually owns?
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
A lot of ingredients in these foods.
That doesn't even have Tyson Foods on it.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, a lot of our foods that are USDA approved here are not approved in other countries.
Anywhere else. I'm talking about Fruit Loops. I'm talking about
all the snacks.
Pop-Tarts, all the snacks.
Yeah,
and even man, the Welch's gummies, my favorite. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything is getting recalls. Everything is getting blocked in other countries. Right. It's do we blame? Do we blame the parent? Do we blame, it's certain things, we really can't put too much blame on the parent. Hey, yeah, you can talk to your child. You can be an avid, person in your child's life. Of course, for sure. Those are things you can do for free. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to my grandmother, she been living in New York. She been living in the same apartment for 40 years of her life. You know what I'm saying? Due to a system in one of the hoods too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And
subsidized control rent.
Seriously.
I know. It's a real thing.
Now mind you, my grandmother, she for the most part, she did very well for herself. She worked at the Twin Towers when Twin Towers was doing it. When they was here. She worked for the bank, so she has like some reputable jobs, but it's just like that system and I was like, Grandma, you don't never like want to just like travel like outside of like the United States or just like the East Coast or just like out of your neighbor. Like if she goes out her house and it's not to work, she's coming to see one of her grandbabies in like Georgia or something like that. Like it's never like, all right, well, I'm gonna move to Georgia. I'm gonna get out of this hole that I'm in, that she loves, and she feels like, hey, this is not a hole to me, but it's most definitely like a suppression.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point that you're making, and I think that's why you're starting to see this new generation travel.
Correct.
Because comfort is what comfort is. It makes you comfortable.
Correct.
But it makes you comfortable in the own environment that you're only comfortable in. And I think when I talk to mentees that are in undergrad and in school, and the one thing I'm like, I wish if I could do it all over again, is take those study abroad trips. I was so ready to be grown and then make my own money and hurry up and graduate that I didn't take that 9-month trip to a whole nother country.
Right.
Because when our kids see the playground as their world and not just Atlanta or Miami or New York or LA, it's a whole different mindset that these kids have. And Coming to America is one of my favorite movies, but I think the pivotal part I got from it is
one or two.
One. Definitely the original.
Definitely one.
But when, Hakeem, when Eddie Murphy was looking for love and he spinned the globe to look for love, his playground was the world.
I like that.
So a lot of times, I used to love social studies. I used to always love to spin the globe and see where the other countries were. But when that youth sees the world as their globe, that's when they become comfortable. And that's how you grow discipline. That's how your insecurities are suppressed. Because think about it, you're insecure in only being in America or your own little neighborhood. Imagine when you think you're good enough or you can compete with the world, how some of those other insecurities go away. And again, that's when the hate goes away. And a term I love that Jay-Z said is, I'm seasoned, but I'm salt-free. So as you get older, you're seasoned, but you're salt-free because you have enough to extend your arm back to help up the next person. You're not looking down upon anyone, and other people's success fuels your success and your urge to be successful. So I think that's a key piece. A lot of our grandmothers were that way, right?
Right.
They were in their own neighborhoods, and that's what they were comfortable in. But this new generation, they're different. They want to be, passport bros and passport.
Nah, for sure. Hey, I'm with it. They want to be quarter zip boys. I'm with it.
Hey, as long as it's positive, right?
Right. As long as it's positive, I'm with it for sure.
And we can't look down upon them, right? We have to acknowledge that the torch is passed. So a lot of us kind of live in this era still like, it's okay that you're uncle. We're 40 plus. I'm 40 plus. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay to be in your own lane, but we have to allow the young people to create their own lane, and we have to respect their lane. Because I think too many times we see it clash, and it's for no reason.
Well, I was about to say something else, but I ain't gonna say it. Ain't that the Supreme Court? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's too stuck in, this one way of shit. So, they don't want to embrace what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Hey, listen. You know what? Keep the government off of me. I don't know nothing.
Listen, I pay my taxes.
Hey, right. Mind my business.
Yep.
But it goes back to it. Like, that's why I was just saying, like, I give more empathy just to people in general, because I know there's a lot of things that in general that's just suppressing us as humans, as Americans, as people that's being fully suppressed in other countries. Israel, Gaza, everywhere, like Russia, you have to go to war in Russia. Like, and if you're between the ages of 18 and 25, for sure, you're on the front line. Right. And if you look at how many people died in that whole war alone, like the numbers is excruciating, like way over the hundreds of thousands. So I think more people seeing that in real time of, like even the mothers that's having babies and the mortality rate with black mothers, like if people seeing that in real time, like I think these would be some of the solutions, because we talk about the problems, right? But we don't really state certain solutions that people can do. Like, yeah, we can eat healthy. Like, yeah, we can eat our veggies and things like that. But it's going to take certain people to go up into these city council meetings. It's going to take certain people to, like, listen, I thought RFK Jr. was doing it, you know what I'm saying? And he might still be. I don't know. But like changing, like the foods that we eat as far as like the ingredients, like putting a hard shutdown on some of these ingredients, the dyes, the red 40s, the high fructose, the corn syrup, everything. Right. To even the things like people like you, salute you and commend you. First of all, I wanted to personally tell you, not the team, but me personally tell you, I love that you're just a community advocate, amongst a whole lot of other things that's to be recognized and appreciated. But I feel like the most important thing that we can do as people is be like servants. No matter, like, being a servant, I feel like that's how you receive the more that you give in many ways. And some people are blessed to give money. Other people are blessed to give time. And some people are blessed to show other people experience. This is how you should go. And I feel like all three is needed. And the things that you do in the community, I feel like it's very important because those are one of the key pieces to change.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's interesting, when I graduated, 21 years ago, I started my first leadership job, and in the first 3 months, Katrina happened. It's 2005. And at that time, I worked for a healthcare organization, and they told me this, Andre, you can continue this leadership program, or you can take X amount of days, a little bit over a month back and forth, and you can help work the grounds of the Superdome in New Orleans. And I chose to help work the Superdome in New Orleans.
Around Katrina. I remember when that was happening.
And if people that remember that, before social media was so big, every day on TV, you saw people that looked like you. You couldn't even believe it was America. In more than knee-deep water, they were rowing boats, trying to find loved ones, people floating.
People on top of floating houses.
Yeah, people on floating houses.
I've seen that, all type of ethnicities
everyone,
in the Superdome.
The Superdome. The city was underwater.
It was crazy.
My main job was to try to figure out what prescription drugs people were taking. It was before my chart. It was before electronic billing. At that time, your medical records came out of Manila folder.
Wait, let's break that down though. Like what type of prescription drugs people was taking as far as abuse level, or from
any medical, behavioral. The average person cannot pronunciate or spell the prescription drug that they take.
I barely could say it. You heard me.
Right. So just imagine, this is over 21 years ago. The city is underwater, and people that have chronic or mental diseases have to take drugs every single day to maintain their healthy mind and body, and it's all washed away. And so just imagine Atlanta underwater, and no one knows how to.
I never thought about that.
And so working for a healthcare organization, we had to try to, and at that time we insured the New Orleans Saints, and they did a phenomenal job helping that city. I would tell you, New Orleans is one of the most resilient communities in my whole career that I've ever worked on.
That's dope.
And to see how those people came together as one community and embraced everyone was magical. And then at that point, that's when I knew I was a servant leader. 21 years ago, that's what shaped and molded me and what I wanted to do. And I was intentional in what areas of healthcare I wanted to take. And it was to deal with the underserved population, because I saw for my own eyes what it was like. And I saw the care and the way they were treated. And you saw it on TV.
Every day.
It was disgusting. And so to see that happen in America, it fueled me to continue to help countless other communities, not just Georgia, all through the Southeast and up the Northeast. And so it's really, truly a part of who I am. And so that's how I started, my career.
What was one of the biggest highlights you feel in your career? Like, I know you had a lot of high moments, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of pivotal moments. But what was like one of the moments that you like, okay, that could have been the Katrina moment, right? For sure, that you transitioned. That was most definitely one where you knew that you was a servant leader, right? But what was the one where you knew, like, okay, I'm really, really on to something? Like,
I would say during COVID. If you remember during COVID, only certain areas at first had the COVID test just to see if you had COVID, and then have the vaccines. At that time, I was able to work with CVS Health to make sure that they have mobile vans at the Andrew Walter Young YMCA, the only one on all of Campbellton Road, going all the way to the West End, Oakland City. We were the only site for elderly people, because there's a lot of elderly buildings in that area,
For sure.
that could just first get the test. You just had to get tested to see if you even had COVID. And then going back to the food insecurities, we fed kids every single day through Keith Lewis and Jermaine and I'm a Father First. Monday through Friday, we fed kids every single day at that YMCA. And also at our YMCA, people didn't know we have a full daycare. We did it for all essential workers.
That's crazy.
We opened up our doors. So people don't realize what had to happen during COVID, and working with two icons, Dr. Walter Young and also Ambassador Young, to make that happen. That was a high pivotal point in my career, because that was a life or death situation. People didn't realize you had to have the test first. And then once the vaccines happened, when we talked about the underserved community, who do you think gets the vaccines first?
Them.
And then it just trickles down, right?
Right.
So to make sure that we had mobile units working with Morehouse School of Medicine, working with CVS Health, to make sure that the underserved community had vaccines to make sure that they could stay alive, it's got to be one of the highlights of my life, outside of, marrying my college sweetheart and having our 2 children. That was a highlight of my professional community life, because we literally were saving lives. People, that was a real tricky time. You had to be 6 feet apart. I was out there putting my health on the line.
For sure. It was really tricky, man. It still is tricky. It still is tricky. Like, don't get me started about the COVID vaccine and the mRNA and the Johnson & Johnson, the recall. Don't get me started, right? Or even implementing it in kids, implementing the vaccine in kids and not really testing this vaccine before it actually hit the markets, or to listen, I can go on and on, but I feel like it was needed in certain situations, just because people were dying.
Right. And the other thing, why the testing was so important, to go back to work, to take a flight, you had to have a test to say that you were negative.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
So obviously, to get the test, you had to either pay for it, right? And you had to have accessibility to get there. Most of it were not in Zone 1, Zone 4, Zone
That's
3,
crazy.
Zone 6 of the city.
Crazy.
You go back and look to see where the testing sites were, they were not in those areas, and that's some of the most populated areas of the city. So when I talk about why it was such a big deal, just think about back to that time when you had to have that paper or that note on your phone to say that you were negative to get through TSA, to go back to work or do whatever it is that you were doing. That was pivotal at that time.
For sure.
And so it was definitely a highlight, and it just let me know how powerful my network was. Because when people talk about themselves and their awards, all commendable things, but how powerful is your network? When you could pick up that phone and that person answers that call.
Right.
That's important. But again, it took time to earn that, and I'm grateful for those blessings that I have.
And we're grateful for you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Before we wrap it up, man, it's like I tell my people and they tell me, we tell each other, right? I'm around some great people. I have a great team. I'm always around like-minded individuals. So if you see me around them, just know we are all in alignment, right?
Indeed.
And I'll be like, listen, you need these type of people around you, right? And it's not really about what you do, but what can be done. I always say, listen, we for the people. We not really for people that just wants to like he was talking about the accolades, you have a lot of great things that you did in life, right? But you only I noticed that you really only talk about what serves the community, right? Which is super great, right? And that's how I feel like our platform is. That's why that's why I was just talking about my team, because we want to be for the people. We don't just want to be for the rappers or the media. If you come to our platform, you guaranteed to either see a scientist, a lawyer, a professional like yourself in the healthcare world, like a leader like yourself, not a professional, but a leader like yourself. So, and I feel like that's needed. The diversity is needed, and being just a vessel, a helping hand in life. I feel like that's the frequency that those are the highlights that travel the most. It's not the accolades of, hey, I just got this award and I'm Mr. Atlanta. You get what I'm saying?
I totally understand what you're saying.
But it's like, man, it's so dope to see the people like Andre Greenwood, the people like DJ Scream, like, man, like y'all, it's a Dr. Walter Young, just the things that, the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA just do as a whole. It's so super dope that y'all have a food pantry every Thursday. It's super dope to hear about the things that y'all was doing off camera during COVID. Like, man, like just, you being so tapped into the community, you like people can't afford tests. Like we need to provide good tests. Like we need people like you. Right. You get what I'm saying? When you was in New Orleans with Katrina and you're like, well, I need to figure out what type of prescription drugs they're taking. Like you get it, like, who does that? like the first thing we looking for is like, who got a pack of noodles? Because we ain't got no fridge or nothing and we need to eat.
Right.
But like even the mortality rate in black women, I feel like they're going to love this episode just because of that alone. Because a lot of women nowadays are scared, you know what I'm saying? Like black women in particular. A lot of the healthcare system in general is like in shambles, I feel like from a higher level, like on a local level is more structured. So this is not talking about like Atlanta or things like that. Yeah. I'm just saying from the highest extent of these hospitals, that's like people don't, I always say if you ever feel like you're in a time in life where you feel ungrateful about anything, like just go visit a hospital for like an hour.
It'll humble you quickly.
Man, what? I'm talking about, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Mm-mm. It doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter what you got, what type of car you drive. Like you're around sick individuals just like you, and your nurse practitioner or your doctor becomes your superhero. Yep. And that's how you're going to look at them as. So it's like just being appreciative of people like yourself, Mr. Andre Greenwood, Thank you know what I'm saying? Being appreciative of people like you is top tier in, our eyes. So I most definitely appreciate you for that, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Just commending the things that y'all do in the community. Man, y'all are so much of a help just with the foundation. I'm chairman on the foundation as well, communications chair. So if you guys ever want to do anything with the Scream Foundation, please visit www.thescreamfoundation.org, or you can reach me, the communications chair. But just the things that y'all do with the foundation, man, is so much appreciated.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you all.
Yeah, man. Those events, I met you at an event. I most definitely seen you before, other than events, for sure. But I feel like that's when we drew a connection of, me seeing you around and what you actually do. Like seeing what you actually do hands-on is great. The proclamation that you guys provided for Scream and Jessica and just the foundation alone.
Shout Ishay Collins, council member Ishay Collins.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. And just for our, viewers watching, right? Like you don't have to be Andre Greenwood to, serve your community. Nope. You don't have to be a Teezy to get the awareness out there. Like you can get the awareness out there by action and the actions that you do on a daily basis. You can serve your community by walking out of your door and just seeing what they need in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember the candy lady in the neighborhood?
Oh yeah, everyone had one.
Everyone had a candy lady in the neighborhood. So it's like if y'all can take that idea and expand it more to not just candy, but the things that we need in our communities, from even policing our own communities, with people like us, that you trust, to providing food pantries in our communities. One thing I said I'm gonna run for city council when I turn 50, right? I got a long way to go, right? But
You can do it, yeah.
but that's one of my goals, not one of my dreams, one of my goals. And the reason why is I feel like I love being a community, like the things that you're doing, like the community advocate, activist, like just advising the community, just being a poster child for the community. Like, I feel like these people are needed more than anything. I'm always tuned in to what city council got going on in my neighborhood, because
You should.
it's a lot,
It's a lot.
and especially in Cobb County. Sheesh. But anyway, that's here nor there.
Story, yeah.
That's a long story. But man, thank you,
Thank you.
Andre, for sure, Mr. Greenwood, for sure, for just allowing us and our platform to like just get the word out there of the things that you and others like you, because you're not the only one.
There's plenty of us out there.
It's plenty of you out there like that, and you don't have to have the accolades. Like, you don't have to have just like, yeah, you got to have some ambition to get out there and help the world and change the world. But, as long as like you're moving with good intent and like we said earlier, sticking to your MVPs, your moral, your values, your principles, I feel like, God is going to align everything in your favor. I have a segment on my show, right, called Give Me a Piece of Advice to Save My Life. Okay. So if you don't mind giving the audience a piece of advice to save their lives that you feel.
I would say for everyone to make a covenant with themselves of who they are. A lot of times we're very skeptical or critical of others, but truly ask yourself who you are and make a covenant with yourself to be a better person. And once you become a better person, you'll become a better citizen, a better friend, a better spouse, a better son, daughter, wife, husband, and really make America and Georgia a better place.
Dope. What's coming up new for the YMCA? For the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA?
I think we're getting ready for our swim team. We know we have a great swim team.
Dope.
New season coming up, and so we're looking forward to have another successful season.
That's dope that y'all have a swim team.
Oh yeah. It's critical. Through the NSAC, Jack and Jill, we make sure that our aquatic center gives all the kids opportunity to learn how to swim. It is one of the major causes of death for most children of color. And so that's something we also do. We have a beautiful indoor pool. Come down to the YMCA and learn how to swim. Children and adults.
Oh, we on the way. Me and all my 5 kids. Listen.
Come down.
What's next for Andre Greenwood?
I think what's next for me is this year I'm going to find more time to spend with my family. You do a lot. I do a lot of things. Obviously, I have a big professional career. I'm an executive in the med tech area and obviously a lot of community events, but looking to find some time to explore Africa a little bit more with the family this year in 26. And
that's nice.
Looking to have some more free time.
So basically just getting grounded a little bit more.
Yep, a little bit more. I'm still a sponge, so yeah. That's
dope, man. Well, Andre, man, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming to our platform. Where can they follow you at?
Andre.Greenwood on IG and Andre Greenwood on LinkedIn. So, out to the viewers, LinkedIn is something, if you're on social media, LinkedIn is where it's at.
Right.
Just telling you, look for jobs, look for opportunities, look to expand your portfolio, looking to learn more about different industries that you're not aware of. LinkedIn is where it's at.
It's so crazy. My mother-in-law doesn't have no social media, but she has LinkedIn. I'm not saying LinkedIn is a social media, but I'm just saying
it's a different platform.
She uses it as like a social media type of thing, Right. So it's crazy.
It's a professional outlet.
Right. Not like Truth Social though. No. Right. I just throw that out there. All right. Anyway, man, thank y'all, man. For real, it has been another great episode. I hope y'all got some gems. I hope we inspire somebody. Please tap in with us, man. Teezy for the people, man. Follow Teezy for the people on all social platforms. Y'all can actually, we're gonna implement a system too where you guys can start turning in forms for y'all to come on our show, because we don't want just people in position or great people like Andre Greenwood, but we want the average person with a story. So just please tap into all our social media platforms and handles for the forum that we're going to be creating for you to come on Teezy for the people, because we're for the people. Y'all can log on to www.teezy4thepeople.com for all the exclusive interviews. I go by the name of Sean Teezy, and we're out just like